Good morning, everyone who made it and found parking or walked today, and those on Zoom. My name is Evelyn Seidman. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the First Unitarian Church of Oakland. We are glad you're with us this morning at the First Unitarian Church. We are working on becoming an intentionally multi-generational, multiracial, multicultural, inclusive, and anti-oppressive community, religious community. You are welcome here. If you are new here, we invite you to fill out an orange newcomer card, which can be found at the greeters table in the foyer or at the welcome table in Venti Hall next door here. You may also fill out the card online. There's a link to it on our website. Doing this helps us help you explore what our community offers and to find ways to participate. You can drop the card in the offering basket, leave it at the welcome table after the service in Venti Hall. Again, let's see, I think I said I'm duplicating. Or you can hand it to Emily Stoper, who will be holding a 10-minute orientation for newcomers at the end of today's service. And look for her in front of the pulpit to answer your questions. So welcome, everyone. And we have a few announcements. Please join us at noon in the Star King Room for a sharing remembrance for our dear Bill Pizik, who passed away recently. Also, please take home some of Bill's books and CDs, which are on tables in Venti Hall. He would want us to enjoy them. Yesterday, we sent a special Hope for Us message to sign up for the Saturday, April 13th, Action Planning Day. The message also included resources and links to all of our Hope for Us workshops that have already happened. Please register by April 8th. If you did not receive the email, please reach out to the administrator at uooCland.org. Also, join us next Saturday, March 23rd, for an interfaith pilgrimage for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. The event is organized by the Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. The pilgrimage will be a day-long, 22-mile walk, marking the distance from Gaza City to Rafah. Our church will also host a hospitality station from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., where we will offer hospitality, water, snacks, blessings, and a prayer station. For complete information about the pilgrimage, please see this week's Chalice Chatter for more information, to join the pilgrimage in whole or in part, or come to church at 11 a.m. to support our church hospitality station. And let's see, I think I have the land acknowledgement that I will now read. Our church, Oakland, sits on the territory of the ancestral and unceded land of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people. We recognize that every member of our community has and continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land. Welcome, everyone.
Now for the chalice lighting words. Will you please join with me as I say the words, which are on the screen, and do the movements too, if you know them. Okay. We light this chalice, symbol of Unitarian Universalism. May it remind us of the divine spark in all of creation, of the power of love to heal what is broken, and to be grateful for life's blessings each day. Okay. And now we have candle lighting words. I'm going to give you a famous quotation from Tagalog, which is one of the languages of the Philippines. You'll have to pardon my bad pronunciation, but I'll do the best I can. I'll give it to you in English as soon as I'm done with the Tagalog. Kung pukulin kang bato tinape ang iganti mo. It means, if someone throws stones at you, throw back bread. And now, the Black Lives Matter, okay, that was our peace candle. So please say with me, together we say, peace is possible. Okay, next is our Black Lives Matter candle. Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. And I think you know who said this, John Lewis.
Black Lives Matter. What a joy and honor it is to be here with you all this fine Sunday morning. We have marathoners running around, and I'm glad you all made it today. And so our call to worship this morning is a poem by Robert Weston. The poem was published in One and Universal, Prayers and Meditations from Around the World, and it was published by the International Council on Unitarians and Universalists in 2002. The poem is The Web of Life by Robert Weston. There is a living web that runs through us to all the universe, linking us each with each and through all life on to the distant stars. Each knows a little corner of the world and lives as if this were their all. We no more see the farther reaches of the thread than we see the future, and yet they are there. Touch but one thread, no matter which. The thoughtful eye may trace to distant lands its firm, continuing strand, yet lose its filaments as they reach out, but find it at last coming back to them from whom it led. We move as in a fog, aware of ourselves, but only dimly conscious of the rest. As they are close to us in sight or in feeling, new objects loom up for a time and then fade out. Then, sometimes, as we look on unawares, the fog lifts, and there's the web in shimmering beauty. Reaching past all horizons, we catch our breath, stretch out our eager hands, and then in comes that fog again. And we go on feeling a little foolish, doubting perhaps what we had seen. But the hands were right. the web is real. Our folly is that we so soon forget. Amen.
Wow, that was really beautiful. Please join me in saying, "Come, let us worship together." And now we're going to have a video.
So we're really excited to sing our beloved Spirit of Life hymn today. And it's going to be a 3-part Spirit of Life. So first, we're going to watch a video from the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Philippines. I was there this past January, so we're going to see what it's like to worship with them, with their singing of Spirit of Life. And then we're going to have one of the world debuts of Spirit of Life translated by Ate Evelie into Tagalog, into Filipino. So we're going to sing that together for you in Tagalog, and then we will all sing Spirit of Life together as a community. So this is a world premiere of Spirit of Life in Tagalog, and we're very excited to bring it here to the First Unitarian Church of Oakland. Playing the guitar is Reverend Renell, one of the newest ministers of the UU Church of the Philippines. And in the forefront, you can see my mom and my dad and I all crying because we're hearing Spirit of Life 3,000 miles away in the Philippines.
Diwa ng buhay sa akin, halina, awitin sa aking puso ang kilusan ng habag. Ihip ng hangin bumangon sa dagat, sa kamay bigyan ng buhay, sa hugis ng katarungan, mga ugat niyakap ako, mga pakpak pinalaya ako. Diwa ng buhay, sa'kin halina, sa'kin halina.
Please rise if you are willing and able to Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stir of compassion.
Our time for all ages this morning is indeed a special treat. We're going to be telling the ancient story of the Visayan origin myth of the Philippines. In the beginning, the world was nothing more than sky and water. And between the two, a hawk was flying, which, getting angry at finding no place to rest, turned the water against the sky, who was offended, and so the sky scattered the water with thousands of islands. And then the hawk had some place to rest. And when it was on one of the islands along the seashore, the sea itself threw up a piece of bamboo at the hawk's feet, which the hawk grabbed and opened by pecking. Over and over again, and from those two sections of bamboo that split open, the first people came out. The people were strong, malakas, and they were beautiful, maganda. And from them, all people of the earth are descended. Amen.
So if you will join me, we're going to sing Go Now in Peace for the children. I don't know where the children are, but children everywhere. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Okay, well, I'm not a child, but I enjoyed singing that. Okay, it's time for greeting one another. This is one of my favorite parts of the service, but I've been told that some people don't enjoy exchanging greetings. If you prefer not to greet today, please remain in your seat. And if you're greeting others, don't greet those who are sitting unless they wave to you saying that they want interaction. And everyone, please, promptly return to your seats when you hear the gong, which I will ring in a moment, or the piano. No piano today, just count on the gong. Well, I recently learned that the Philippines is the home to about 25 UU congregations, 25, with a total of about 2,500 members. Unitarianism and Universalism, and also UU, are international faiths. They exist in, would you believe it, about 32 countries on every continent except Antarctica. The first Universalist congregation in the Philippines was founded in the 1950s by a Pentecostal minister who preached that God is love, and because of that love, salvation is a gift to all. In other words, no hell. For this, he was excommunicated. With some help from the Universalist Church of America, 9 Universalist churches were founded by him in the 1950s, and they eventually became UU in 1995. Most of the UUs in the Philippines are fishermen or small farmers who grow a lot of their own food. This really reminds me of the Unitarian churches in Transylvania that many of us have visited. The Filipino UUs, like the ones in Transylvania, tend to identify as Christians and to love Jesus. But they also draw on ancient Filipino practices like ancestor worship, faith healing, and magic. Unlike the Catholic Church, which is the dominant faith in the Philippines, the UU Church ordains women and fully accepts LGBTQ people. I must admit, I'm surprised that Unitarianism, Universalism, and UU are so widespread. 32 countries? That's a lot. Were you thinking that UUs were all highly educated Americans from cities or suburbs? No way. They're in India, they're in Mexico, they're in Uganda, and they're all over Europe. UUs abroad are somewhat more likely than the ones in this country to identify as Christian, but most of them are pretty fluid and open about beliefs, non-beliefs, and practices. I'd be fascinated to travel around the world and learn about the variety of UU ways of life and of worship. I'd love to see the various ways that the spread of Unitarian Universalism around the world serves to advance some of our American UU principles, like the free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the interdependent web of existence, and the worth and dignity of every person, regardless of race, ethnicity, and LGBTQ status. I think it would be really valuable to see the variation in practices and insights that different cultures create from these ideals. We could learn so much from these other cultures. I'd love to start my journey with the Philippines. Yes, Transylvania was fascinating, but wouldn't it be great to spend some time in a Filipino fishing village, absorbing a religious tradition that is somewhat like ours, but also different enough to open whole new windows of experience and thought? I hope some of you would come with me. Okay, and now for some special music.
Thank you very much for that, Emily, for that introduction. So I just wanted to add a little bit here that my brother and I, we've grown up around the world because my dad was in the military, but he made sure that he didn't have to go to war. He was a photographer and a mechanical engineer as a sergeant in the Army. And so I myself sing over 30 languages. You mentioned 32 countries. I sing over 30 languages, and one of them is in a little Mayan chant, In Lak Ech. Can you say that? In Lak Ech. A Lak In. It's there. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, you can see it there. In lak ech a lakin, and that means I am another you, you are another me. And I also translated it in Filipino. Ikaw ay kadiwa ko, ikaw, ako ay kadiwa mo. Is there a slide for that with the other words? I hope so. No, I guess. Okay. So, anyway, it's called response. So if you can't get the consonants, it's okay because the vowels have the spiritual power. The vowels. Call response. Ilagech. Alagin. Ilagech. Alagin. I am another you. You are another me. I am another you. You are another me. Ilag edge. Alakim. Ilag edge. Alakim. Ako ay kadiwa mo. Ikaw ay kadiwa ko. Ako ay kadiwa mo. Ikaw ay kadiwa ko. Ilag edge. Alakin. Ilag edge. Alakin. I am another you. You are another me. I am another you. You are another me.
Meditation. Okay. So this is the time in the service when we share our joys and sorrows. So may I ask you to call out the names of the people you wish to honor or remember today. I'm going to sound the gong, and I'd like to hear you call the names. I'm thinking of Bill Piesick, whose memorial service we will have today at noon. I remember Bill as a dedicated member of the Adult Education Committee and somebody who brought to us dream work with Jeremy Taylor a number of times.
We hold them in our care. Our prayer this morning comes from that same book I talked about earlier from Robert Weston, One and Universal Prayers and Meditations from Around the World, published by the International Council on Unitarian Universalism. The prayer is from Reverend Rebecca Quimada Sienes, who's the daughter of the founder of the UU Church of the Philippines, Reverend Toribio Quimada. So this prayer, this song, is Reverend Rebecca's words, the daughter of the founder of the church. It's titled, The Song of the Afflicted. Is there a God? In a world of injustice and inequality, in a world of oppression and tyranny, in a world of poverty and ignorance. God, where are you? I know of a kind, loving, and generous God who is honest, just, and fair. Whoever, whatever, and wherever you are, hear our cries. Hear our pains. Hear our agonies. God, where are you? Do you hear the call of the people who are living in a fractured society? Their calls are true and genuine and real. They are hungry for justice, hungry for equality. They are thirsty for real love and happiness. Do you hear me, please? Hear us, O God. Listen to us now. Act on our behalf now. Gracious, loving, and just God, now is our time. Amen.
And now please join us in singing the hymn, We Are Gentle, Angry People.
Please pay attention to the lyrics on the screen because there's an updated version to be more LGBTQ inclusive. Thank you.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and lesbian people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and lesbian people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. By trans, queers, and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. By trans, queer, and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are
Maayong buntag po in Cebuano. In English, good morning. I am the Reverend Kevin Allen Mann, and I bring you greetings of Gugma and love from my recent pilgrimage to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Philippines this past January. Thank you so much to Reverend Laurel for this invitation to preach, and thank you so much to Evelie and Jedi for participating in this magical service and bringing your gifts of music and storytelling. We very much appreciate you. And thanks to the worship associate Emily and to all the behind the scenes, the tech team in the back. It really takes a whole community to make this happen every Sunday morning here at the First Unitarian Church of Oakland. What a joy and honor it is to be here this morning and share my deep passion about our shared liberal religious faith in the heart of the Philippines, one of the most conservative Catholic countries in the world. As a queer Filipino-American Unitarian Universalist minister, having my blood family, my mom, my dad, and my sister, finally meet my UU Church of the Philippines family was an 18-year-old dream I've had since my first pilgrimage to the UU Church of the Philippines in 2006. When I was still brand new to Unitarian Universalism, when I was still curious and hopeful about a faith I did not know too much about yet. So with this initial formative encounter with the UU Church of the Philippines in 2006, the trajectory of my life would forever be changed. The UU Church of the Philippines allowed me, as a queer, brown, Filipino-American, to claim this Unitarian Universalist church, this faith, as my own. In that moment that I learned there was such a thing as the UU Church of the Philippines, the chalice of my UU faith, my Filipino ancestors, and my LGBTQ identity all found one sacred flame to call its spiritual home. I knew from that point on that I could claim this faith as my own, that this too was my dream. Many of you here this morning attended my ordination last October 1st. Evelie was a big part of that ordination, and we had it on the first day of both Filipino-American and LGBTQ History Month. As you remember, the ordination included an all-Asian-American cast of UU worship leaders, featured traditional Filipino music and culture and dance and food. My mom cooked tons of food, which was amazing. But best of all, our special collection raised over $3,600, which is over 200,000 pesos. Sounds a lot bigger in Philippine pesos, but we raised over 200,000 Philippine pesos, all to support the work of the UU Church of the Philippines. Their ministers are not paid. And so this money that we were able to raise was the first time that ministers in the Philippines were able to receive some kind of stipend and also be a health care security backup. So this past January, I had my third pilgrimage to the UUCP. And like I said, this time it was different because I was with my mom, my dad, and my sister. As you saw in the Spirit of Life video, we're all literally in tears hearing Spirit of Life from a guitar in the Philippines on these beautiful islands. My mom and my dad speak the same language of Cebuano that most folks in the UU Church of the Philippines speak. So I'll never forget my mother serving as translator at every congregation, not wanting my sister and I to miss a single word. I'll never forget my younger sister saying, "Kuya, older brother, I get it now. I get what Unitarian Universalism is all about." In so many ways, this pilgrimage changed my life. as every pilgrimage to the UUCP has always done. I am not the same as I was before, and neither is my family. Reaching past all horizons, we catch our breath. This sermon draws from both my pilgrimages experience as well as from the 2001 book, Evelie Universalist, a history of the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Philippines by Reverend Dr. Fred Muir, Emeritus of the UU Church of Annapolis. The headquarters of the UU Church of the Philippines is located on this charming seaside college town called Dumaguete. Dumaguete is in the island province of Negros Oriental, in the heart of the Visayan Islands, in the central part of the Philippine island group. As Emily mentioned earlier, there are over 2,500 Unitarian Universalists in the Philippines, spread through about 25 congregations. Now, the Philippines has a lot of islands, right? And out of the 7,500 plus islands, most of our congregations, 24 out of the 25, are on one island, the island of Negros. There's also one congregation located in a working class neighborhood in Metro Manila. So we have 24 on the island of Negros in the Central Visayas and one in the Metro Manila region called Bicutan, where their previous minister was the first openly lesbian minister in Asia. The UUCP is growing with over 10 emerging fellowships and has ambitious plans for church planting throughout the Philippine archipelago and fostering innovative ways to connect with North American partners. Reverend Toribio Cienes Camada officially founded the Universalist Church of the Philippines in 1955 in the small rural barangay village of Nataban. Universalist because before it was Unitarian Universalist, what was spreading in the Philippines was the theology of universalism, that all of us are saved or none of us will be. Reverend Quimada proclaimed a clear Universalist message even before he found out that the Universalist movement was larger. He said, God is love. Everybody's going to heaven. Everybody is a child of God. Rich, poor, male, female, young, and old. God blesses everybody. No exceptions. With the spirit of the early Universalist zeal, Reverend Quimada was on a religious quest for truth and meaning. He had left the Catholic Church of his youth and became affiliated with a Protestant movement, Iglesia Universal de Cristo, which allowed him to read the Bible for the first time, something not allowed by the Catholics. Because of Quimada's enthusiasm and the grasp of his faith, he was soon asked to teach Sunday school and preach, and by the time he was 31 years old, Reverend Toribio Quimada was the minister of 9 barangay village congregations, all still affiliated with Iglesia Universal de Cristo. So he began searching for religious education resources, anything he could get his hands on for his growing community. Now, this is the part of the story that takes on a level of serendipity, if you will. Divine providence, destiny, fate. As our 7th principle states, respect for the interdependent web of life of which we are a part. In 1951, a new resource arrived by mail in a most out-of-the-ordinary way. Reverend Quimada received a letter wrapped in an old newspaper. That newspaper had a listing of Protestant denominations in the United States. He immediately went to the letter I for Iglesia and then looked for the letter U, hoping to find resources for Iglesia Universal de Cristo. Instead, what he found was the Universalist Church of Wisconsin. So he wrote to the Universalist Church of Wisconsin, right? This is before email. He wrote letters. That's how things happened. And so he wrote a letter to the Universalist Church of Wisconsin. However, months later, that letter went unanswered. So, he didn't think anything more of it. He tried, didn't get a response. And months later, he was given an almanac. Do y'all know what an almanac is? So it was used for farmers, right, to know when to plant, when to harvest. And so for the UU Church of the Philippines, most of them are farmers. And so this almanac was very important. And in it, he found another reference to universalism, this time for the Universalist Church in Gloucester, Massachusetts. Again, Reverend Kimata reached out to them, waiting for months and months for a response, and eventually he heard back. He heard back, and in the years that followed, Reverend Dana Klotz, Executive Director of the Universalist Service Committee, worked closely with Kimata in 1955 to support this growing liberal religious movement in the Philippines. Reverend Kimata soaked in all of the educational resources from the Universalist Service Committee, and because of that, soon Reverend Kimata found himself a really newfound and well-spoken religious liberalism. And because of this, he became unpopular in the larger Universal de Cristo Church. Eventually, he was excommunicated from the church along with his 9 churches. This theological gap created a liberal religious opportunity, and on April 25th, 1955, those original 9 congregations became the Universalist Church of the Philippines, with Reverend Kimata as its leader, with the support of the Universalist Church in America at its back. Every April 25th to this day is annually celebrated across the islands. In that same year, Reverend Toshio Yoshioka, who was a Universalist minister from Japan, where Universalism was also being developed, he visited the island of Negros and made his report back to the Universalist Church of America in Boston. Reverend Toshio said this about Reverend Kimata's church. He said, "Mr. Kimata and his people were surprised and relieved by the Universalist teaching of universal salvation and the idea of a loving God rather than an angry, vengeful God." He said, "It seems to me that the Universalists in the Philippines are recapitulating the same experiences as the very early Universalists in America. Touch but one thread, no matter which." This Universalist faith spread like wildfire across the island of Negros as Reverend Toribio Kimata would preach on top of soapboxes in markets from town to town, from market to market, preaching universal salvation, love for all. His daughter, Reverend Rebecca, recalled her father preaching extemporaneously for hours on end on topics like universal salvation for all mankind and hell is hatred to your neighbors. Heaven is love to them. Like the early Universalist preachers in America, liberal religion in the Philippines is spread mostly among rural farmers and seaside village folk, people of the land and sea. The central UUCP theology of universalism is deeply rooted in social justice, collective liberation, for people who are farmers in a feudal system know what it means to be oppressed. Love the hell out of this world, as the classic universal saying goes. The very idea of hell creates a system of an elite chosen few, while the sinning masses are condemned to eternal salvation. In a world with limited options, rich versus poor, us versus them, saved versus damned, the theological doctrine of universalism freed us from the fear of hell and allowed us to focus on the here and the now. Universalism eventually spread to other Christian denominations, but it was the Universalists first that held this doctrine. Universal love. That same force that led Universalist minister Reverend John Murray to bring Universalism from England to the United States and preach on the everlasting love of God. Universal love. That same force that led Reverend Toribio Kimada on a quest for truth and freedom, serving the Diyos sa Gugma, the God of love. I imagine the ancestors of Universalist John Murray bowing to the ancestors of Toribio, bowing to the ancestors of Kimada, bowing to the new graduates of the UU Church of the Philippines Minister Formation Program, many of whom are young adults, women, and LGBTQ. Currently, the UU Church of the Philippines has 7 active partner churches, and they're always looking for more. These partner churches have international relationships, organize regular pilgrimages to the Philippines, sponsor life-changing educational opportunities, and connect through technology like Zoom and social media. The closest partner church of the Philippines to us in the Bay Area is the San Mateo UU Church, who have had an active partnership with the Evelie UU congregation since 2001. This relationship has resulted in dozens of students being able to go to college, because in the Philippines, you have to pay beyond an elementary school education. Many families cannot afford this, and so with this partnership, it really helps make a beautiful transformation. In our efforts to build the beloved community, how do we lift up our shared values of justice, equality, and compassion? How do we make a two-way street rooted in our UU principles, rooted in accountability and vulnerability? How do we transform the traditional first world and third world divides that hold us back? The Bay Area has the second highest Filipino American population in the United States, second only to Los Angeles. As we move towards our vision of becoming an anti-racist, multicultural, beloved community, how do we better serve the religious needs of the rich tapestry of people and cultures that call the Bay Area their home? What can a relationship with the UU Church of the Philippines teach us about their unique expression of liberal religion that may just resonate with other local people of color communities just down the street? In closing, we have a prayer to the God of love. Diyos sa Gugma, open our eyes to the web of life that binds us together. Let our universal love reach across the distances of oceans and nations, culture and language, oppression and privilege, first and third world divides. From the Bay Area to the Philippines to Palestine, may we know deep in our bones that our liberation is bound to each other. May we remember that this flame burning bright, this sacred flame, is not limited to North America, but has sparks around the world. The interconnected web of life is real, and it cannot be broken. There is a living web that runs through us to all the universe, linking us each with each, and on to the distant stars. Amen.
Thank you, Kevin. That was inspiring. So I've been in this congregation for 24 years. What do I have to show for it? Well, extraordinary amounts of lots and lots of things. Friendships, deep and meaningful ones. Beautiful music that I had never heard before, including some of it today. Lots of chances to work with a group to create justice. A variety of spiritual experiences, Christian, Jewish, pagan, Sufi, and uniquely Unitarian Universalist experiences. Comfort and help at the time my parents died. Lessons in leading worship, which means speaking to give inspiration and comfort rather than just information. And so much more. All this is priceless to me, but it's priceless, but it has to be paid for. Your generous offering is an expression of your gratitude for what you've already received, and it's also an investment in future benefits you will receive here. This month, half of our plate goes to the Ella Baker Center, a nonprofit organization here in Oakland that works with people of color and all lower-income people to end mass incarceration, promote racial justice, and build power and prosperity in these communities. So please, give generously if this is your first time here. Oh, give generously, but if this is your first time here, we welcome you, and we don't expect a financial contribution. Will the ushers please come forward?
There is a place for you at my table. Enough room, enough for all. Quench your thirst, satisfy your hunger. Share these gifts of earthly life. There is love for you at my table. Enough love, enough for all. Share the joy, share the wonder, share the mystery, share the light. There is peace for you at my table. Enough peace, enough for all. Come to me away from yonder. Share the beauty, share this time. You are welcome at my table. Share the fruits of field and vine. Come to me away from thunder. Share the nectar, share the wine. There is a place for you at my table. Enough room, enough love, enough peace for you. At my table, you are welcome, welcome. At my table, there is a place for you.
To the work of the church, which is weaving a tapestry of love we call community, we dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings.
And now for our closing hymn, Building Bridges.
Please rise if you are willing and able in body and or spirit. And we'll be singing Building Bridges in rounds. And so we'll sing it one time together. And then on the left side, we'll sing it for the first round. And then Evelie will be leaving the right side for the second round. And we'll do 2 rounds. So one time all together and then 2 rounds. Thank you.
Here we go. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our vision and all of our vision. Friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all our voices and all of our visions. Friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions. Friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Our benediction for today comes from 18th century preacher, Universalist preacher John Murray. Go out into the highways and byways. Give the people something of your new vision. You may possess a small light, but uncover it. Let it shine. And bring more understanding and light to the hearts and minds of the people. Give them not hell, but hope and courage. Preach the ever-loving kindness and love of God. Go out into the world to love and serve. Amen. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Go in peace, go in kindness, go in love, go in faith, bring the day before us, day is begun, go in grace. Let us go into the war, not afraid, not alone. Let us hope by some good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Let us hope by some good pleasure safely to arrive at home.